Good evening, class, and welcome to Binary Gamer. I'm your host, Tony Spears, and this is the show where passionate people talk passionately about that thing we are passionate about, and that thing is video games. So let's just get the business out of the way. Binary Gamer is a show you can find in all the places you get your podcasts, whether it be iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Podcast. If you can find it there, you can find Binary Gamer. You can also find us over on Twitch, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the places. Obviously, if you want to watch stuff like this, YouTube and Twitch is the place to be. If you want to check out and see all the stuff that we're doing in the meantime, though, you can definitely check us out over on Twitch, or pardon me, on Twitter and Instagram and all that. Uncle Sam Bam in the chat says hello. Hello, Sam. How you doing, man? So we're going to make an announcement really quick, and this is really important. So I have mentioned before over the course of the last couple weeks that, change was coming, and change is indeed here. And that is because we have decided to launch Patreon, the official Patreon for Binary Gamer. So now, before this starts to sound like us trying to shill for money, hear me out, okay? So I've mentioned before in some Binary blogs and some other places that I want to start using Binary Gamer as a platform to help places out, to help out my fellow man. And in the spirit of doing that, what we're going to do is we are going to start a Patreon, and the way it is going to work is this. Every month, we are going to announce a new charity that we are going to be supporting. And essentially the campaign for that month will begin. So whatever money that we raise at the end of the month, Catatonic joins us in the chat. Hello, Catatonic. But whatever money we raise by the end of the month is going to be donated to that charity. It's going to be a 90-10 split. So 90% of what we make is going to go directly to the charity. And I'm going to make sure to do various posts through Patreon and other places showing us actually going through with our word and donating the money. The other 10% is, and it sucks to kind of call it this, but it really is what it is it's overhead. It helps us to keep the lights on and to work toward getting things together for bigger events to do more for these charities. So in the spirit of this month, in the kickoff to this whole ordeal, we are going to be supporting Stack Up, which is an amazing charity. And essentially Stack Up's whole goal is to create awesome events and to support veterans all over the world and through video games. So, little peek behind the curtain. Next week, around this time, I will be interviewing the COO, or the founder, if you will, of Stack Up, and we'll be talking about their mission statement, what got them started, just why they're so passionate about doing this thing for veterans and using video games as the vehicle for that mission statement. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be really awesome. I personally cannot wait to check it out. It's going to be great. But yes, you can go over there to patreon.com/binary_gamer, and you can donate there. Of course, for those that are not watching this live on Twitch, I will have it in the description of the podcast, whether it be audio, video, wherever you get it, doesn't matter. You can go and you can support us over there. And of course, there are going to be tiers. There's a whole list of things that are explained over on the actual Patreon page. So if you are interested, if you do have any questions, go over to Patreon, patreon.com/binary_gamer, and check it out. If you feel like it's something that you want to do, then by all means, I mean, it can be as little as $1. That's the thing, that we're not shooting to, get $10,000 by the end of this month to give the Stack Up. We're just looking to do our part and to use video games and this passion that we have for them and the community that we're growing in order to do that. And I think we will do a good job. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, it doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. And so that is that. Enough shilling now. Enough guff to the man. Let's move on. So let's real quick get into the week that was. Man, oh man, what a week. So my computer is still dead. I'm still doing this on the workhorse, and this laptop has proven to be a beast, and I love it so much. It's currently dropping frames, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. It will do the job, and that's all that matters. And I love them for it. We do have a solution on the way, though. Should be here tomorrow. Should have been here Friday, but UPS decided to, drag their feet, and that's fine. But regardless, we will get it there, and it's going to be amazing. So this last week, without the computer, as far as playing games, I started to dabble in some Mario Odyssey. That game is ridiculously rad. I know I'm kind of late to the party when it comes to Mario Odyssey, but man, oh freaking man, is that game good. Like, I haven't had that much fun in a Mario game since Mario 64. Like, honestly, as far as just like the exploration and the interactivity, and really, like, it comes down to that thing of like, maybe there's a moon over there. I don't know. And then you go and you check it out and see if there's a moon. But then also it's like, that tree looks weird. And you throw the cap on it and suddenly you're the tree and you're like, holy crap, like, what can I do as this tree? And really just kind of hopping around. But like, there's so much more to it. Like, you can, possess anything. It's hilarious. And like hopping around as a frog or as a cheep, as like the little squid things that like you fly around with the water and stuff like that. Or like turning into a Lakitu and fishing in the desert. Like, it's totally crazy. It's so much fun. And it's just really cool seeing like the little bits of like fan service they stick in there in various little places. Like, that's always really fun to me to see stuff like that. So I'm really happy that I got a chance to play that game. Like, we got it for my son as a hey, good job, buddy, like, you've been helping out a lot around the house gift. And it's been fun for both of us. Trust me, he's been playing a lot more than I have, but in the off time that I've had, I've been playing it. Aside from Mario Odyssey, though, I've really just been playing stuff on my phone and catching up on some Netflix stuff. Started watching the Umbrella Academy. That was pretty good. I haven't finished the first season yet, but it's pretty good. I like it. And playing a lot of Plague Inc. But that is really that. I know the week that was kind of weak, but yeah, that's all right. Like I said, the solution will be here soon, and then we will be good to go. So I had a whole bunch of stuff lined up as far as like some FGC news. Really, what it comes down to is the Capcom Cup is coming up pretty soon, and that's all well and good, but I'm not really too concerned until like we get into like the second real big tournament. Right now, as it stands, it's just a lot of people vying for points, and that's fine. It's, we'll get there as far as, starting to see who's going to get fleshed out for like the later half of the season. So I'll be interested. I am kind of interested in the fact, though, that Capcom hasn't really made a lot of announcements when it comes to Street Fighter V, and because of that, I speculate that there's either going to be a new Street Fighter game to come out soon. It might not be Street Fighter 6, but I think it might be like, like an Ultra Turbo Champion Edition or something like that. Some type of like add-on addition to Street Fighter V, the same way that like Arcade and Street Fighter 4 Ultra happened and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're going to go that route, or I don't know, maybe they are going to just announce a new game. I don't really know, but it does have me worried because, I mean, like the FGC kind of flows with Street Fighter. If Street Fighter doesn't flow, like, what are you going to do? Like, there's only so much that really holds up the FGC. Now, granted, with Mortal Kombat 11, that's weird. See, I told myself I wasn't really going to be getting into this, and yet here I am. But with Mortal Kombat 11 coming up, that might fill that gap. I don't know for sure, but yeah, we'll have to see. But yes, let's move into the actual topic for this week. So I started thinking, like, almost immediately after episode 100, which, again, thank all of you that came out, everybody that supported. It was awesome. But I started thinking immediately after that episode, was like, man, I really want to do kind of a deep dive into some stuff, and I ran into some technical and legal issues when it came to this particular subject, but I also decided it's like, you know what? Just, throw caution to the wind and we see what happens. So I won't be playing any copyrighted music this evening because I don't want this thing to get flagged on YouTube and various other places. But what I am going to do, though, is I am going to put out some information and some places you can listen to this stuff. And if you want to listen along while we're doing this stream, that's great. If not, you can go back and listen to it later and still enjoy it all the same because it is still all awesome music. But the topic for this week is video game music, and specifically very particular songs from some very particular games. And the reason why I've picked this list, one, this is completely a subjective list because this is all stuff that when I think back and I think about these games and I think about the music, I remember very specific times in my life. And I remember like that feeling that they gave me. So that's primarily why I picked the songs on this list. Other ones on this list, though, do have a lot of cultural and what I like to think like significance in the Street Fighter, not Street Fighter, in the video game timeline. There's a Street Fighter song in there. Sorry, I let the cat out of the bag. But yes, they have some like significance in like the timeline in the development of video games because it's a moment that you remember very specifically. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. Comes to us by way of Konami. Bloody Tears from Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Arguably not the best Castlevania game, but arguably one of the best songs ever. The composers are, now you please have to give me some leeway here when it comes to pronouncing some of these names. I apologize. Kenichi Matsubara, Satoe Terashima, and Koichi Murata. Yeah, Murata. So Bloody Tears is first in this list for a slew of reasons, but the main one being that it's one of the most basic songs. Like, it's one of the most basic songs on this list, but it also conveys so much when you're playing the game. It starts out with this like really like fast like MIDI, like almost a dirge of like the, and then it's going, it goes in and it swells and then it like busts into the full like orchestral like play there, orchestral in MIDI of course. So like there's multiple channels firing off at once, but the Nintendo was doing a lot with that sound. But at the same time, this song just gets you so amped, like you are 100% ready to go and take on Dracula. Nothing's gonna stop you. Get out of my way. I'm Simon Belmont. I have a whip that makes vampires explode. Let's go. And you're just, you're hopping in over Medusa heads and you're, whipping freaking flea men and just losing your crap and losing the game horribly so. One thing that I think is so tragic is the fact that this song is so good and this game is so subpar. Like it is not a great Castlevania game by any stretch of the imagination, but the song is ridiculously awesome. So it's weird that like it has that strange like duality of like I have to suffer through this game, but I get to listen to this music, and the rest of the score is really good as well. So it's kind of the only thing that's really driving you along in that game. Now, granted, there are the Simon's Quest defenders out there, and they're more than welcome and have every right to defend it. But me personally, I think that like when I think of like Castlevania and then Castlevania 2 side by side, the first one is a superior game, but Bloody Tears is the superior song. So moving on from Bloody Tears, we're going to get into one that is kind of a given. It comes from The Legend of Zelda. It is the Song of Storms from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So the composer here is Koji Kondo. So if you're not aware, Koji Kondo has done a lot of Nintendo music over the years, like quite a bit actually. But this song is awesome because like everybody remembers like the Hyrule Field theme, like the main intro theme to Ocarina of Time. Like most people, when they hear the first few notes to the Legend, like the main theme for Legend of Zelda, they know it instantly. It's like hearing the Super Mario Brothers song. Like it may as well be like one of the, you know, 3 anthems of video games, like, you know, stand up, put your hand over your heart, you know, you listen to the song. But at the same time, those games are very much like, there's very much a standard to those games. Sorry, not to those games, to those songs. There's very much a standard to those songs. Like, you're not ever going to deny that those songs are great. But what you can do is say that there are good songs and there are bad songs when it comes to the different ocarina songs that you learn throughout the game. Now, The Legend of Zelda has played with the concept of using music as a tool for quite a while. I mean, you have Ocarina of Time, the Oracle games use music. I mean, even Link's Awakening used music as a tool. So you got 7 different instruments to wake up the windfish and do all that jazz. But then you also have this game, which allowed for much more dynamic music. And I like the Song of Storms because it's very, the only word I can use is jaunty, it I guess is the word, because like some of it goes like on an organ. So the whole like story setup with this song is, and it's kind of a weird paradox, but you learn the song from the man in the windmill, and he's playing like a grind organ, which like spins on his back. So you can imagine that, like, you know, he's got full stereo going here, but he's playing his grind organ, and he talks about how this damned kid came and played the song and screwed everything up in the windmill, and he'll never forget the song, and he teaches it to you as adult Link. Then you go back later as young Link, go back to the mill, and he's just happy-go-lucky. He's having a good time playing his grind organ. Everything's good to go. And then you play the song to him again, which sets the mill to running fast again, and makes it to where you can go down to the well. Like I said, it's kind of a paradox, because if he hadn't taught it to you, you couldn't go back in time as young Link to play this song, which would set him off to show it to you, to teach it to you as adult Link. It gets weird. Time travel, all that stuff, wibbly wobbly kind of thing. But regardless, it's such a great song because like the grind organ that he's playing plays into the music, and so the ocarina accompanied with that weird grind organ makes this like very, like, it starts out like slow and melodic, but then it picks up and it's very jaunty, and like after a while it has kind of a waltz feel to it, and it's very, I guess relaxing is the word that I'd say, but like it's not, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird relaxing melancholy is the best way I can describe it. Like, it's a song that makes me happy whenever I hear it. It doesn't like make me sad, but at the same time it's one of those songs where it's like it has a very somber tone to it. That's why it sticks out in my head, because there are no other songs in that game that have that kind of feel to me. So that's why I put it on this list, because I think it's very unique and stands out among all the other songs that you play on the ocarina in that game. So moving on from the Song of Storms, we have a classic. We have Ryu's theme from Street Fighter 2. The composer is Yoko Shimomura. And let me tell you, when I say that there is no other song in a fighting game that makes you feel like you are about to throw down in the most epic manner possible. Street Fighter 2 is amazing for a number of reasons, but one of the things that is uniquely amazing about it is how each of the individual themes for all the fighters and the stages and everything play into the tone of the fight, and Ryu's theme like exemplifies that to such a degree, strictly because it's him. Like the song essentially is like the personification of like, this dude has been working like really hard to become the greatest martial artist that he can, and he's not going to stop until he is the best. Like, he is the road warrior. He is not going to stop until he has defeated all foes that are worthy to be pummeled by his fist. And thusly, he, you know, goes on to, you know, like beat the crap out of Akuma and defeat freaking Bison and slay Sagat and so on and so forth. But the song is what backs everything else up. Like, there's not a single remix of this song that doesn't make you want to punch a car. Like, you just want to beat up somebody's sedan, and they come outside like, what'd you do to my Corolla? And it's like, my bad, dude. The Ryu theme started playing. I got really pumped up. I saw your Corolla. My bad. I'm sorry. Terribly sorry. Everybody remembers punching the car. Nobody ever remembers freaking breaking the bricks, or the barrel minigame was pretty decent too. But regardless, yeah, this song makes you want to fight. Like, it makes the fight feel alive, and that's one of the great things about it. So hats off to the Ryu theme. There are like, this was really tough for me because it was between the Ryu theme and the Guile theme, and I don't know. I love the Guile theme. I love Guile as a character, but the Ryu theme to me is kind of like the theme to Street Fighter. When you hear it, it makes you think of Street Fighter. Like when you hear the Guile theme, you think of Guile, which is weird to think, but yeah, they're not exactly like one and the same, I guess you could say. All right, so moving on from there, we're gonna like fast forward to the 90s now, and we're gonna talk about the main theme from Battlefield 1942. The composer was Joel Eriksson. So the reason why this one is important is because when Battlefield 1942 came out, LAN centers were still kind of a thing in the States. And I can tell you from experience, having been a kid that went and spent way too much money to play those LAN centers, that hearing this game like in stereo around you. Spell check. What did I misspell? Sorry, Catatonic in chat says spell check, bro. Couple misspellings. Did I misspell composer? Oh, I probably did, didn't I? Oh no, did I? Compose? No. Street? Oh yeah, I totally misspelled Street Fighter. Oh god, you're right. Yeah, it's Street like sweet. You know, yeah, you know what I meant. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out though, Catatonic. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I was saying. Yeah, Street Fighter. Thank you. But going to LAN centers and playing Battlefield 1942 when it first came out, because like we had computers that could play it, but like playing a bunch of randos on the internet wasn't that fun because like TeamSpeak wasn't a thing yet. You didn't have Discord. There wasn't even Skype. So you could only really talk to a squad of dudes if you were in the same room. And while people had like private LAN parties all the time, which is all well and good, like it was hard to get a bunch of people together to play online against other people because Battlefield 1942 allowed a lot of people to play online. Well, this song, one, I think is amazing because it has had some type of iteration throughout all the Battlefield games. Like there's a version of this song, whether it like, you know, the tempo changes slightly, the instrument composition will change, but it's still the same song. It's still that dun 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 dun. It never changes, and that's what's great about it is it continues on, and like you know instantly the game that you're playing, and you remember that first time you played it when you're sitting in frickin' Nexus with your bros on your side, sitting there playing as the Germans, wondering what happens if we win the Battle of the Bulge. This is weird. And then like you win the campaign as the bad guys, and you're like, what the crap? And then you know like Battlefield Desert Storm came out and crap and a bunch of mods and stuff, but the music never changed, and that feeling never changed of like you're partaking in this epic battle with your friends online. And that's why I picked it, because whenever I hear this song, I think of those times playing online like together with my friends, and just having a really good time, and thinking that this game is just ridiculously freaking cool. All right, so now we're going to bring it back, and we're going to get a little melodic. The Chao Garden theme, Sonic Adventure 2. The composers were Jun Senyu, Kenichi Tokoi, Fumi Kumatani, and Tomoya Otani. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry that I am slaying these Japanese names, the pronunciation. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at reading these names. But regardless, so I'll let you know a little secret. Sonic Adventure is a decent game, but it's not great. Sonic Adventure 2 is a slightly better game, still not that great. The Chao raising portion of it, like the 3D Tamagotchi thing you had going on in that game, that's the best part of that game. I don't care what anybody says. You play through that game to get different animals, to get the little vials, to increase the stats, and to change the look of your Chao while listening to this amazing song. This song involves bongo drums, like a bongo drum and a steel drum. And I'm telling you right now, it's like I could sleep to this song. If I could get like a 10-hour loop of this song and just listen to it, I would fall asleep and sleep like a baby. It is so melodic and just like really like uplifting, and it's so fun to listen to, and it sounds amazing. It sounds like it sounds like you're in heaven, and in heaven there are chows and little baby leopards or cheetahs, sorry, and baby penguins and baby I almost said heffalumps. Man, what is wrong with my brain today? Baby elephants and all these little animals, and you're just like nuzzling the animals to the chows, and everything is great, and life is life is perfect. You get to raise your little angry eyebrowed wing having chow baby to race, and it can turn evil or turn good depending on if you beat it up, or I think you have to give it coconuts to make it good. I can't remember because I eat coconuts, but regardless, man, this song was it fit it perfectly. And it's funny because I can't tell you anything else about Sonic Adventure 1 or 2. I remember some of the other music. I remember the intro song when you're running through the city in Sonic Adventure 2. I only remember the song. I don't remember the level. Chows. Catatonic says in chat, chows are the best thing about video games ever. It's very true, man. The chows were amazing. Like, it completely justified the VMU. The VMU was a vehicle to keep raising your chow offline, like while you weren't playing, and then when you went back, you plugged him back into the freaking Dreamcast, and he popped into the chow garden. He had like better stats and stuff where he'd be faster. Yeah, a Catatonic also says you just play the first level to unlock the chows, and then after that you don't need to do anything else. You don't. Yeah, the chow garden theme. If you're watching this live right now, go ahead. You can leave the stream. That's fine. I don't care. Go to YouTube. Just look up the Chow Garden theme and just listen to it, man. If you're listening to this, either in the audio podcast or VOD on YouTube, pause and go listen to that song. I'm telling you, it is so good, so good. It's literally one of those songs where like I can put it on and it doesn't matter how I'm feeling that day. I just feel better. Like everything is just good. That's it. That's really it. That's all I can't gush anymore about this song because of the game, because of the chows. I really wish there was just a chow game now. That's what I want. I rescind everything I said about wanting a new Monster Rancher. I want a new Chow Garden. That's it. That's all I want. Man, it'd be so good. All right. So moving on. We're going to be going into a place that I'm not 100% familiar with, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not. This was recommended to me by Chicas only because he played so much RuneScape, but it's the main theme to RuneScape. The composer is James Hannigan, who also did music for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, I found out, which I thought was really cool. Like, this guy apparently has some chops, and it makes sense. This song, like, I went through and listened to this song many times and watched a bunch of freaking playthroughs of RuneScape. I've dabbled in RuneScape. I have not, spent hours and hours throwing a net into a freaking puddle of water to get fish and stuff. Like, I didn't put the time in like a lot of people have. But what I can tell you is this song, for being like the title theme to really the granddaddy of MMOs, it lets you know that like you're about to go on an adventure. I hope you have strapped in. I hope that you have prepared yourself for what is about to come, because I can tell you right now, the adventure is coming, and you're going to be freaking slaying monsters and getting loot and grinding skills, and it's all like, to your little adolescent brain, it is all going to be epic and amazing, and that's pretty cool. It's really cool to feel like a sense of like a message being told in a song. And I think that the theme to RuneScape does that, because it really sets you up to like, hey, like it's almost like a campaign song. It's like, hey, you out there, are you hungering for an adventure? Do you think you got what it takes to go and frickin' slay dragons and destroy kobolds and frickin' bake bread and frickin' gather feathers until the cows come home? Well, then you need to come and play RuneScape, because RuneScape is amazing. And it just like, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the song that would go to a promotional ad where some guy is just like in your face telling you about how you need to be in RuneScape playing RuneScape. And that's pretty cool. Like, that takes that takes a lot of talent when it comes to composition. All right, moving on from RuneScape. I made this one number 11 because I'm lame like that. Dovahkiin from Skyrim. The composer is Jeremy Soule, who's actually considered one of the most successful Western video game composers. And I thought that was really weird until I looked it up. And that dude has a lot of credits to his name. Like, he's done a lot of stuff. But I don't think anybody's ever going to forget the Dovahkiin song. There's been 10,000 remixes of this song over the years. Everything from Dan Bull's Dovahkiin rap, which if you had not heard that, please go and listen to it. It is amazing. But just like parodies and like legitimate like opera singers doing renditions of it, whole orchestras playing the song while people have been singing it, choirs and the whole 9 yards. Aside from the opening to Evangelion, I don't know if there's been another song that I've seen a huge church choir sing like pitch perfect and with like the gravitas that is demanded of this song, because this song has gravity. Like, there's no way else to say it. When you hear the song and it starts off with like the real low drums and you're like, oh man, like it builds up almost like the shark attack moment in Jaws, where it's like, oh man, like something's coming. And then pretty soon you start hearing the melody and you start hearing the voices coming up and you're like, man, what is going on here? Like, this is like, what is this? And then it goes into the chorus and you're like, oh my God, it just blows your socks off. And the first time you play the game and you hear that song, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I am the Dragonborn and I'm going to just go and wreck everything. And you can go and wreck everything, or you can go and not be a complete jerk. Don't kill everybody. I mean, Stormcloaks, Imperials, you pick your side. I usually stay neutral, at least until it comes time to get like better gear or something. But you know what I mean? Regardless though, the song like conveys a scale of epicness that doesn't happen very often in games. And I think this list would be incomplete without it, because as much as Skyrim will be just remembered as like the game that runs the best with all the mods. Gigas in chat says, no, kill everybody. No survivors. That's what Skyrim's for. Well, I mean, we can't all be, chaotic evil in every game that we play. Actually, I have a tendency to not play evil. Now that I think about it. The only game I purposely ever played the evil side on was Infamous 2. Just because I was like, you know what? This sounds like it'd be fun. And it was. Dark side, who knew? It has its appeal. But P. Cage in chat says, Fable says otherwise. There are a lot of advantages to being evil in Fable. You're right. Actually, yeah, a lot more advantages than there are to being good. But in Fable 2, it made you look nasty, and I didn't like that too much. But that's not the point. So, yes, Dovahkiin is that song that you remember when you're like, man, I have to do something around the house and I need some like motivation to do it. You put this song on and you will mop those floors like they owe you money, or you will just, do those dishes like the world depends on you getting this pot scrubbed. Dovahkiin has the ability to make anything that you're doing epic, and that's pretty freaking cool when you really think about it. So good on that. Good on him, and good on Jeremy Soule for making a song that like makes you feel like an epic badass every time. Chica says in chat, lawful evil. It would be a discrimination if I didn't kill everyone. Well, you're not 100% wrong. All right. So moving forward, we're going to come to my personal my second favorite on this list. The Chao Garden is my favorite one. I don't care what anybody says. It's amazing. PK says in the chat, the operatic version of it by the Swedish orchestra is amazing too. It is, and that's the one I'm referring to, where the lady is up there and like the orchestra is playing behind her, and yeah, it is amazing. It's actually like it's emotional in a way. Like, it does elicit emotion because she is just pouring her soul into it. Chica says in the chat, flute salad? No, flute salad is not on this list, buddy. It does have an honorable mention though. Next up, Tragic Prince from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The composer is Masahiro Yamane. Note, the end credit theme song, I Am the Wind, which is the vocal ending theme, was actually like written and composed by a bunch of different people and like performed by the people that wrote it. And it's actually really good, but I only wanted to put it in there because Symphony of the Night is one of the few games that just has a flat out like in credit song. Like that's the only way you can put it. PK says, I missed the earlier part of this list. Will there be a place to see the recap later? Yes. If you go over to YouTube and check out the podcast over there on VOD, you'll be able to check out the list there. We're going to recap over everything as well, though, so fret not. Chica says, play the song, please. I cannot play the song because it is copyrighted material, my friend. I can't. I don't want to get this flagged, and also I want to respect the fact that there are people that do own the rights to these songs. So unfortunately, Chicas, I can't just be going through and playing songs willy-nilly, but you can look them up. But anyway, Tragic Prince is awesome because, well, one, Symphony of the Night is an amazing song, and it is an amazing game, and it's only made better by the weight of the score that accompanies it, right? Each zone you go to has its own melody, has its own like theme in the music, and because of that, it shifts the mood depending on where you're at in the castle. It can go from like dire situations in the grand hall to suddenly you're in the library, and it's a very pretty is the only word I can think to describe it, but like very pretty like piano chorus going on. And then you get in to like the above works of the castle moving through, and you're just slaying monsters. And then Tragic Prince comes on. When you first get there, it starts out very like orchestral, the same way that a lot of the other songs do, and then it just goes into straight up thrash metal, man. Like if you didn't know who the composer was for this, you'd be like, did Motley Crue write this song? Like what? Why is this guitar shred so hard? And then you're just realizing that no, like it's about vampires and you're killing werewolves and you're fighting Frankenstein and like your own doppelganger. And at some point you fight Beelzebub, and there are flea men and flying swords and stuff. You're like, no, this is rock and roll. That's what this game is. This game is vampires meets rock and roll. And this song just punctuates that feeling so hard. It's really difficult for me to think of a song that goes better with the theme and the overall aesthetic of a game than Tragic Prince with Symphony of the Night. Like if you're just talking about like Alucard's sprite is very simple when you really think about it, but when he's standing still, he looks so brooding and foreboding, and like he looks big in spite of his scale and everything. And then with the music playing, it just ramps that up to 11, and you're like, no, I'm a ridiculously awesome vampire, and I can kill other vampires and slay this crap, and I killed a harpy once. Like, yeah, it's just awesome. PK says in chat, I love how classical can be used to emphasize such a sense of emotion. Is it too late to nominate Aeris's theme from Final Fantasy VII? No, it is not. It is not, and I will take some. I'll definitely, sit here and take some suggestions from chat, because Aeris's theme is, man, it is really good. It has such a good melody to it, and it's very like, not somber. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's very it's very calm, and like Aeris is a character in that game that is supposed to give you this like feeling of calm. Like she's supposed to be the normal in that incredibly weird world that Final Fantasy VII takes place in, even though she gets sucked into that weird as the game goes on, all the way up until she dies. Spoilers, Aeris dies in Final Fantasy VII. Didn't know if you knew. It's crazy. I once got that materia though. I learned it. It was on GameFAQs. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that song definitely, like, it gives you that sense of normalcy. Like, it brings you back to the first time you meet her in the church in the flower bed, and it's very much like it very much is like the calm in the storm, and it's amazing that song can convey that feeling of like, hey, like, I know shit is crazy. Like, you can summon a fire demon if you wanted to right now, or shoot down lightning, or your friend over here can use his gun arm to blast us all into a bajillion pieces. But like, just for right now, just kind of chill out and like let's just enjoy the scenery and maybe this music. So, but back to Tragic Prince. Chica says in chat, what about DK Rap? Don't worry, my friend, your time will come. Donkey Kong didn't have to go that hard, but he did it for us. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was not going to do this. I wasn't going to do this. I don't want to sell Tragic Prince short. That song is amazing, but I do want to move on to the last one, which is the DK Rap from Donkey Kong 64. The DK Rap, which introduces the Donkey Kong character's abilities at the outset, was conceived and written by George Andres, scored and recorded by Kirkhope, and performed by Andres and Chris Sutherland. So let me tell you, if you've not heard the DK Rap, you're missing out. There's a lot of amazing video game music out there. The Super Mario Bros. Theme. There's the title credits to Legend of Zelda. There's the intro song to Halo, for God's sake. But nothing is ever going to go down in history as a WTF moment than the DK Rap. And this is why. Donkey Kong 64 was not a great game. Okay? There are some people here in chat that will disagree with me hardcore. And I will tell you right now that they are wrong. Donkey Kong 64 is a collectathon nightmare, and it plays like garbage. It's not a good game. There's a reason why they didn't make any sequels to Donkey Kong 64. They made other Donkey Kong games, but they were much more like Donkey Kong Country, which is the superior version of Donkey Kong, aside from the original Donkey Kong, of course. The DK Rap serves to prove that not all video game music can be good, but most video game music can come back around and be so bad that it's great. Like, we listen to the DK Rap for the same reason that we listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot, or to freaking to the Rickroll song. It's not that it's good; it's that it's such a train wreck that you can't help but listen. And the actual video for this thing, like the intro video for this song, is also bad. Chica says in the chat, "Who is this host?" And he says, "Because it slaps." No, it's it's supposed to be like an intro to all the characters, like telling you about how like DK has his freaking peanut gun and freaking the female monkey, the female not Diddy, is it Daisy? No, it's not Daisy Kong. Man, I can't remember her name now. But the little girl monkey can climb up trees. Freaking Lanky Kong can stretch his arms. Freaking Baby Kong is like super duper strong. And all that stuff. Freaking Diddy has a jetpack. All this stuff. Like it's meant to be the instruction booklet that you would have read if this were still the 90s. But instead, they decided to put it to a song because apparently the developers had too much time and a little bit left in the budget. And we're like, you know what, guys? I got an idea. Let's get that turntable. We're going to like scratch a record for all of 3 seconds. Just loop this beat, and then we're going to just come up with a retarded song. And that's what they did. The song is not great. It's not. Does it deserve to be on this list, though? Yes, as a cautionary tale. Because while all music is good, not all video game music is good. Sorry. Now, Chica says in the chat, it's not great. It's fire. Well, I will have to sorely disagree with you on that one, buddy. Now, I do want to get into some honorable mentions for this one. A few I just flat out forgot, to be perfectly honest with you. A few of them I just flat out forgot. The main one that I forgot to put on here that I should have put on here was the Halo theme. Like the theme to the original Halo, Combat Evolved. The, that like the friggin' the monks chanting. And I feel really bad for having forgotten it because it's such a strange opening to an even stranger game when you really think about it. Because you're like, I thought this was a sci-fi shooter. Like, I thought I was supposed to go and shoot aliens and save the world. And it starts out with this very dramatic, for lack of a better word, operatic beginning with these monks chanting. And then, you know, like as you listen to the song, it starts getting into the drums, and you're like, okay, I got this now. And then you realize, no, this song isn't just epic. I'm about to take part in an epic. And then if you play through the first 4 Halo games, the Master Chief Saga, that's what it is. Like Halo is meant to be like a spacefaring epic. It's supposed to be, like Ender's War meets Doom, or freaking, Dune meets Wolfenstein. It's meant to be like, this is a sci-fi epic, and you're going to take part in it via your trigger finger. Not that that's not a bad thing. It's just the mechanism of delivery and the setting don't seem to make sense, don't seem to mesh until you do play it. And the song is what sets that up. The song sets you up to sit down for, as long as it takes you to get through the campaign, and you're just like, man, like I hope I'm prepared, because maybe I'm not. Let's see. Catatonic says in chat, Legends of Azarath. I'm not familiar with the song, or if that's the name of the game, but I will take your word for it if you want to give me a little more explanation in chat there. But yeah, and that's all that I have for the list. But the reason I wanted to talk about this music is because depending upon the games that you're into, and depending upon what you're into, theme from the opening screen. Oh, that's the name of the song, is the Legends of Azarath? I didn't know that. I didn't know it had a name. I always just call it the Halo theme. That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. That is nuts. Well, thank you. But wow, I need to write that down and look that up now. I want to find out who the composer is. That's actually really interesting now. Oh, the WoW theme. Okay, I am sorry. I apologize. Catatonic says it's the World of Warcraft theme from the opening screen. From Legends of Azarath is the name of the song from the World of Warcraft opening screen. Okay, I got it now. No, you're fine. Like when you said WoW, I thought you meant like, wow, you don't know the name. Like that's what I thought, but you meant World of Warcraft. I got you, man. Camel text is weird, but what's it called? Yeah, it's important to look back on these games and to look back on the music as well, because the music plays such a big part. Now, there was a time in my life where I was listening to music at the same time I was playing games, and it wasn't the game music I was listening to. And because of that, Chica says, did you just assume his intent? Pepe hands. Yes, I did assume his intent, and I apologize. But the downside to me listening to different albums like Godsmack and Metallica when I was going through and playing like Harvest Moon 64 or Record of Lodoss War is because now whenever I hear those songs, I think of those games, and vice versa. Whenever I hear Godsmack's first album, I think of Harvest Moon 64, and those two don't go together at all. Like, I should not be listening to Voodoo. Like, I shouldn't be hearing Voodoo in my head while I'm picturing my guy going into his greenhouse to pick strawberries for the umpteenth day. You know what I mean? Like, but they tie together, and that's a very strong tie that music has in video games. Is it'll take you back to a spot, or it'll take you back to that game. Let's see here. Catatonic says System of a Down, original vanilla WoW, and Harry Potter books. Yeah, see, that memory is married. Like, those three things are married together in your memory. Is like you listening to World of Warcraft. You listening to System of a Down while playing World of Warcraft, and you were probably listening to and or reading the Harry Potter books. And that, like I said, is such a strong tie. Music has such a strong tie to the memory. And so when you're talking about these games, it's important to remember what about them touched you. And it's not always story. It's not always the gameplay or the setting or the characters. Sometimes it is the music. Like I said, Sonic Adventure 2 is not a great game. In fact, some people would say it's not very good. And they have every right to think that. In a lot of ways, it's not. It controls like garbage. And there's a lot of other things that are wrong with it. But that song, the Chao Garden music, will forever be in my head as something I can just listen to if I want to chill out. And that's so weird because that probably wasn't the intent. It was probably just meant to sound cutesy while you're playing with these cutesy little creatures doing cutesy little things. Before you go back to, running down the friggin' street at twice the speed of stupid, trying to be radical as a friggin' hedgehog wearing shoes. But at the same time, that's not what sticks in my head with that game. In fact, the only song aside from the Chow Garden theme that sticks in my head from that game is is one of the Knuckles levels. It's like the like Lost Ruins one, and that one sticks in my head more than anything else. But the Chow Garden theme ranks above that and probably always will. And it's because Chica says, how many miles per hour is the speed of stupid for for reference? It's about 400 miles an hour, give or take. I mean, yeah. But yeah, just for reference. But yeah, that song will always be married in my head as being like, oh, I could just listen to this and just chill out and just not have to worry about anything. And I do. Like there are times I'll be sitting around the house and I'm just taking care of stuff, and it's kind of a lazy day. The kids are off doing something, and like my wife might be at work or she's taking care of some stuff, running errands or whatever, and I'm just taking care of stuff around the house, and I'll go to YouTube and I'll put that song on, throw in some earbuds, and just do the dishes, take the dogs out, clean up stuff in the garage, whatever, and it relaxes me, it calms me. And a lot of the other songs on here, I could say the same. Like, if I just want to listen to some thrash metal that I think is really dope, I throw on Tragic Prince, because that song makes me want to like kick in an amp and like smash a guitar on the ground, or go and listen to freaking Dovahkiin if like I'm like, all right, I gotta get pumped up for this thing. Like, I'm like, look, I'll give you a little like peek behind the curtain. Back when I first started podcasting, to pump myself up, I would listen to freaking God, it sounds so dumb now. I would listen to freaking man, what is the song? Oh, the Hyrule Field theme from Link to the Past. I would listen to that before I would record to pump myself up, because like that's the song I think of when it's like, all right, we're going on an adventure. Like, grab your sword, grab your shield, freaking throw a fairy in the bottle. Let's go, man. Like, that's what that music does for me, and it does different things for different people. And so that's why I think video game music is really important. Now, sometimes it doesn't tie into the feeling of the game at all. Like, a lot of times when I think of like music that doesn't really go well with a game, sadly I think of Star Fox. There are certain songs in that game that don't fit the theme. They don't fit the setting, but they fit like a theme, where like the songs are supposed to make you feel overwhelmed because there's so much coming at you. Like, you're on rails, it's an on-rail shooter, and you're going through and you're dodging freaking laser bolts coming at you and stuff, and you're weaving left and weaving right and up and down and everything. One of your wings gets shot off, and you're out of bombs. You're like, crap, man. And the song is just this like real tense, like dirge, as you're coming up to the boss, and you're like, oh crap, man. And then the boss music is just really tense. Now, that's supposed to set a mood, and in that endeavor it does well, but I don't think it fits well in the setting. So that's why I've always looked at Star Fox and been like, oh man, I don't know, this doesn't seem right to me, it doesn't feel right to me. I mean, there are a lot of other ones I can think of too when I think of songs that don't quite fit right with a game, or don't, that I just don't, that I flat out don't like. But then there are ones that, like, it doesn't matter where you hear it, it makes you think of it, like the the Offspring song that plays every time you play Crazy Taxi. And now that I've said it, you're hearing it in your head, and it's hilarious to me because like people listen to Offspring all the time, sometimes not ironically, but yeah, like that song will forever be tied to Sega, be tied to Crazy Taxi, and be tied to you sitting in front of your Dreamcast being like, all right, I'm gonna make it past the church this time. No, you're not. No one. I don't know anybody that's ever like gotten a long run in that game. I would love to see like a high score run in it and see how people do, because it must be amazing to go that far in that game. But regardless, what I'm talking about is the music, and the music is like forever married to that game. Like, people listen to Offspring in other settings, but every time I hear that song, the that, sorry, I'm going to I'm going to think of Crazy Taxi every single time. And that is it for this subject, music and video games, and why it's important. So I want to say thank you to everybody that has come out in the chat. I want to say thanks to Catatonic, to Chicas, to Sam, to Cage, everybody that has sat in and come and join us here. I want to say thank you very much. To those of you listening out there in podcast / YouTube land, I want to say thank you as well for watching the show. And yep, that is it. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in to Binary Gamer. Remember, Binary Gamer is a weekly show that you can listen to in all of the podcast places of your choice, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Podcast, Stitcher, doesn't matter. If you can listen to a podcast there, you can listen to Binary Gamer. You can also hit us up over on YouTube. Head over to YouTube, search Binary Gamer, check us out over there. Maybe subscribe, maybe check out what we got going on. We do a lot more than just a podcast. We have a lot of our Twitch streams that end up getting shoveled over there if you like long form content. I'm also starting to get into the habit of doing highlight reels that are, like simplifying the month, and then also pre-recorded stuff that we do as well. And of course, you can always find us every Sunday, 8 p.m. over here on Twitch, unless something happens, which most time is work pulling me away. But if that is the case, then I'll let you know early, and we'll get something else figured out. And of course, you can follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Join us over there. Have all the awesome times. Stay informed with what we're doing. But like I had mentioned before, and like I want to reiterate before we leave, remember, we're up on Patreon now, and I am emphasizing that because this month we're going to be supporting Stack Up. This month on the 30th of March, we'll also be doing a live stream, like a charity live stream for Stack Up to raise money for Call to Arms 2019. And we're going to try and get as much money as we possibly can. Our target for the stream is going to be $500. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, doesn't seem like a lot of cash, but every little bit helps when it comes to supporting any good cause. And that's what we're going to do this month. But if you want to support us through Patreon to support a great charity each and every month, you can head over to patreon.com/binary_gamer. And you can support us with as little as $1 a month. And remember, 90% every month goes directly to the charity of the month, and 10% goes to us gearing up to do an even bigger and better live stream event to raise even more money to go to charity, so we can not only learn about video games, have a great time doing it, but help our fellow man in the process. So that is it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Have an awesome week. Go play some games, kids. Class dismissed.